So today we've got a door on the show that has a dent in it that's easy to see when you're on the side, but not so bad when you look at it from this direction. Now, we took the door panel off and we tried to pop this thing out, and we did pop out a considerable amount. Considering the overall condition of this particular vehicle, being that it only has 103,000 miles on it and everything else, we would like to get top dollar out of it. So we need it to be pretty outstanding. I mean, because it's a pretty outstanding car. It's got brand new tires and stuff on it. So we need to fix this door on the cheap. And the cheapest way to fix this door is to get another door.
Not really, dummy. The cheapest way would be to do the body work, because you might have $30 into it, but you're going to have a significant amount of time. And not everybody knows how to do body work. Kind of like this guy. So I've got another plan.
Go onto the interwebs and you search on car part, which is what I normally do. I find one of these doors for about $270 to $375, painted in excellent condition. But there's even a cheaper way of repairing this and replacing it, which is going to a pick your own body part. But you need to know how to find the actual color code for the door, because just because one looks blue doesn't mean it's the same blue. They have like 7 blues for most things. And this procedure is going to work on anything. So let's save some damn money, get this stinking door off.
I can tell you from personal experience that your mind and your eyes will play tricks on you. You can go out to the junkyard, start looking around, and then you're like, is it that color? Is it that blue? Is it that blue? Well, manufacturers use different color blues because that's what's available to them at the time they're making these. So they might have, 5,000 of one blue, 5,000 of another blue, blah, blah, blah. So I highly recommend you follow the instructions and use the coding off of the car to determine if it's the right part or not, or you're going to be going back to the junkyard a couple times. Trust me, done it with my own personal experience. Dum Dum Clay has his ways too.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to take off this door. I'm going to show you how to do that. And this door removal procedure is pretty much the same no matter what it is you're working on. It's going to be affixed onto the vehicle the same. Then we're going to find out how to figure out what damn paint color this is. The first thing we need to do is make sure that we're getting the proper door or the proper color anyways. There's no sense in changing out a door and making it the wrong color just because you can't find one. You just need to do a little bit of searching and digging.
Personally, I had to go to 3 different pick your own parts places to find this color door, but it was worth it because it looks correct and it was affordable.
Here in these General Motors models, inside the glove box, either up on the side like here or down here in the bottom, it's going to have these sets of numbers. And along here is going to be like right here, this is water-based. And then that number there.
On General Motors models, I've always found the paint code to be on the bottom, like by that water base, or it's going to say BCCC. It's hard to tell. There's so many damn different tags that they put on these things. I can't make heads or tails, but I'll explain to you how to find out for sure.
That might be the paint code, or it could be up inside here, or it could be in this group right here. You can always call down to the dealership, give them the VIN number, and they should be able to tell you that one, or if you have a picture of this sticker right here and you can tell them the numbers, they can tell you what paint code you have.
If you've ever looked at classic cars, they talk about build sheets. Well, that's essentially what this is. It's a build sheet that tells you like what the motor is, like the interior trim colors. Anything about the automobile is usually in that sticker. And yes, every car has a sticker similar to that somewhere inside the automobile. But most of the time, it can just be decoded through the VIN.
Now on Chryslers and stuff like that, they might have a sticker here, they might have one here, they might have one down along here on your Fords that will have your paint color on them. Okay, so anytime you're removing a door, the first thing that you want to remove is the electrical connection, as you're going to find out later on in the video when we're out removing the door at the junkyard. Not too much fun. And we don't want to break this one because now we've already got work to do that we didn't have to do before. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this out of here and then disconnect the door from this so we don't have to rewire the whole damn thing like we have to rewire ours. But hopefully you don't. Now most doors are going to have a little attachment like this. So we're going to take these 3 10mm bolts out first so we can get the door open as wide as we can.
Older model vehicles are going to have a spring mechanism in there, and you're going to need a special tool to reinsert them, but not necessarily take them apart, because once you take the hinges off, the spring's going to fall out. But most vehicles after like 2005 have one of these pins that run from the door to the A-pillar.
Then we're going to take a flathead screwdriver and we're going to pop this off here. Most doors unplug from the inside on what's called the A-pillar right here. Some of them will unplug on the opposite side, but I think in this situation, this should have unplugged from here, even though I ended up cutting the wires. So since we had to cut the other one yesterday when we were taking it out at the junkyard, I just pulled the whole wiring harness out of there. So once I get the door off, I can actually figure out to disconnect it. Or if I can't figure out how to disconnect it, I can just shove this portion into my new door. So now we're going to use and take off these 4 10 or 13 millimeter bolts that are holding these hinges on. Now here's something that you need to know. If you're doing this and the vehicle was in an accident, more than likely you're going to need these hinges right here. In my situation, my hinges are perfectly fine because my door is perfectly fine. So I just need to remove these bolts right here. But word from the wise, remove the hinges if you've ever had an accident with this door where it's dented up pretty damn good, because more than likely the hinges are bent. Other words for the wise, when you're going to remove these bolts out of these hinges, remove the bolts out of the bottom hinge before you remove the bolts out of the top hinge, because the door is always going to be wanting to go this way. And if you remove the ones out of the top, then you're going to have to work harder to remove the ones out of the bottom. All right, with your ass assistant, make sure you remove the top bolts now that you got the bottom ones out. Now that I don't really need to mess with this, I'm not going to try to get it out, but the reason that I couldn't get it out was there's 4 prongs holding it in there, but it's a pain in the dick trying to get this thing out anyways. So I was better off removing the wiring harness or cutting it, because it would have had to have been removed no matter what. Now I'd recommend, while you have this off of here, if you have, check these, make sure these these bushings have not worn out in here. See how that bushing is down inside there? Yeah, that's no quick though! Because I do have one in the shop that has bushings that are worn out. This one's not, so we can just throw the door on.
It's kind of a pain in the butt to change bushings. I've done it countless times. In this situation, I went to the parts store. They didn't have the right bushings for it, so I just went out to the picky part and just got some different hinges, which seemed to be easier than even changing the bushings, because you have to hold the door, pound the bushings out, all sorts of stuff. I'm sure there's lots of videos on the old interwebs here showing you how to do that.
If you're like me and you're switching over the wiring harness, wherever you see these little plastic tabs, you've got to pull them out. It's best to do that. Make sure that you pay attention to how it routes. Like up underneath this one, routes up underneath the cable that's behind here. The wiring goes behind the cable closer to the door than the cable does, so then it don't interfere with your window. And before you reassemble this completely, I would recommend plugging in the door panel to make sure your window functions up and down, because it may have other bad parts inside the door, because it did come from the junkyard. Now, before we put this mirror back on, we want to make sure that this is all, this pinstripe doesn't match this pinstripe. So we're going to remove the whole pinstripe all the way down the car. They actually have erasers for this, and I don't know where mine are at, but if this doesn't work, I'll find the eraser and use the pinstripe eraser so we don't defunk this paint. All right, that's clearly not going to work.
All right, I have a good excuse for why I was so dumb to think that that was going to work. Well, at least this time I have a good excuse for it. I just got out of the hospital for a brain aneurysm 2 days before this, and I still had tons of brain fog, so please forgive me. And if you don't already know from watching my videos, I'm a badass. That's how I survived.
But what we don't want is to work around with this mirror, so I'll just take a razor and remove it for right now, just a little bit past here, and then I'll find my pinstripe eraser and actually remove it correctly. Okay, so I took a razor and lifted it up, but now I've got the adhesive left over, whereas if I had my eraser, I wouldn't have that.
That's not necessarily true. If you don't use the eraser correctly, like I'll show you here in a little bit, you will have that glue. Actually, you'll make a much bigger mess. So do it the right way, not the clay way.
But I can use some Goo Gone and towel and hopefully take that up. Now, it doesn't even look like you guys can see that, but that's still there. So we have to give that a good, thorough cleaning and raise up off that glue off there so it looks correct. Little bit of elbow grease and she's pretty much off of there.
Okay, so I bought a new eraser for this, but it really just makes a mess. Make sure you get the flat erasers, not the ones that look like cogwheels, because that is just ridiculously terrible. But I did find a way to get this off using this eraser pretty well. You just need to actually use soap and water at the same time as using that, so it releases the glue easier.
So as you're using this eraser, you squirt it down. Go ahead. And you go over the top of it. And any glue that gets left over, you keep squirting it.
That's what she said.
You rub it down.
Obviously, she said that as well.
We found that that's the quickest, easiest way to get the pinstripe off. It works out the best anyways. It's not easy, but it's much easier if you keep this wet while you're using your eraser to do it. And then it dissipates the glue a lot better and you can get it off. So now we've got a mismatched trim panel and we need to remove this one off of here. Most of the time, I'm going to tell you, when you go to remove these trim panels, these clips are going to break. And if you don't replace all the clips and put them back in there properly, this thing's never going to stay on the vehicle. So I highly recommend ordering the correct clips for whatever you're working on and removing it. Watch out for little things like, you know, little bolts that go through, like in this situation. This one actually had 2 screws and it must have, oh yeah. Yeah, it was just a little bolt that goes back there or something that held them 8 millimeters on this one.
Next thing we're going to do is show you how to restore faded plastic trim panels.
Now, let's say, for instance, you have to buy one of these doors that have this, like, plastic stuff on here and it looks like crap and it doesn't match. You want to bring that back, that faded part back to life. All you do is you get yourself a heat gun. Hold it roughly about 2 to 3 inches from the door. And you can do that, and that's going to bring it back and make it last. And you can make it all uniform by doing it to all of your plastic. That's a real pain in the butt. And I'm not going to do this whole panel because I don't even need this panel on here. But I wanted to show you that you can do that, and it will last.
Now we're out here at the pick your own part, and we're going to start taking this door off.
So when you go to take a door off at the junkyard, they're going to charge you for every little piece, like your mirror and stuff like that, your inside trim panel, if it has glass in it, window motor regulator. Do not cut this if you can avoid it, because if you cut it, then you're gonna have to rewire the whole damn door, and that would suck. Since ours wasn't in an accident, we don't need the hinges. You might want to consider getting these. Definitely want to consider getting these if it's damaged from a severe accident. But ours has a couple dents, so now we're just gonna unplug this, pop this out of here, unplug it, be good to go.
Well, hopefully you people dug that video and it made you think a little bit differently about going to the picky part and getting your own door and showing you how to do that. If you found this video entertaining and enlightening, please consider subscribing, clicking the notifications, sharing my videos. Give me them sweet old thumbs up. And if you've got a question for me, you can hit me up on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on the Facebook Messenger. I answer them for absolutely free. Although, I cannot help you with that old baby mama drama. I've got my own to deal with. Remember, don't be the next to them, be the absolute first of you. And if anyone else can do it, you definitely can do it too. God bless, folks. Have the greatest of days.